The court's instructions on any subject, including instructions on damages, must not be taken by you to indicate the court's opinion of the facts that you should find or the verdict that you should return. And all the parties in this courtroom want you to return a verdict. Now, how do you do that? Your attitude and conduct at the beginning of your deliberations are very important. It is rarely productive for any juror to immediately announce a determination to hold firm for a certain verdict before any deliberations or discussions take place. Taking that position may make it difficult for you to consider the opinions of your fellow jurors or change your mind, even if you later decide that you might be wrong. Please remember that you're not advocates for one party or the other party. You are the judges of the facts in this case. Each of you should deliberate and vote on each issue to be decided. Before you return a verdict, however, each of you must agree on the verdict so that each of you will be able to state truthfully that the verdict is yours. As I told you, the question of whether or not these parties were principal agent can be decided by all of you, or can be not decided by all of you, so you still have to go to the second question. You understand that? Now, the verdict you return to the court must represent the considered judgment of each of you. In order to return a verdict, it is necessary that each of you agree to the verdict. Your verdict must be unanimous. That is to the second part, as I just mentioned to you. It does not need to be unanimous as to the principal agent issue in this case, but the other part of this case has to be unanimous. It is your duty to consult with one another and to reach a verdict if you can do so without violating your individual judgment. Each of you must decide the case yourself, but do so only after an impartial consideration of the evidence with your fellow jurors. In the course of your deliberations, do not hesitate to re-examine your own views and to change your opinion if you're convinced that it is not correct. But do not surrender your honest conviction as to the weight or effect of the evidence solely because of the opinion of your fellow jurors or for the mere purpose of reaching a verdict. Now, the law forbids you to determine any issue in this case by chance. If you decide that the plaintiff is entitled to cover damages, you must not arrive at the amount of those damages by agreeing in advance to use each juror's independent estimate of the amount to be awarded, to total those, to divide by 12, making the resultant average the amount you award. Now, if a question arises during the deliberations and you need further instructions, please print your question on a sheet of paper, knock on the door, and I'll have a court officer sitting outside, or you can call on the telephone. I'll read your question and I may call you back in the courtroom to try to help you. Please understand that I may only answer questions about the law and cannot answer questions about the evidence. Now, I remind you that you decide this case based solely on the evidence you've heard in this court. You are prohibited from considering any other information, and you are not to consult with any outside sources of information. You must not communicate with or provide any information, photographs or video to anyone by any means about this case or your deliberations. You may not use any electronic device or media, such as a telephone, cell phone, smartphone, computer, the internet, any text, instant messaging service, or any chat room, blog, websites such as Facebook, MySpace, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter to communicate with anyone or to conduct any research in this case. Now, when you come back to this court with your verdict, it'll be put in this form, put in this envelope by the person you choose as foreman. After your verdict comes back, you may be polled. Each side has a right to poll you to make sure that that's your verdict. You'll be polled by your names, and I need to tell you, since you won't be blindsided, that your names will be public record after the case is over. Now, you will retire now and select one of your presiding juror to be your deliberations. As soon as all of you have agreed upon a verdict, the presiding juror will complete and sign the verdict form, and you will return that to this room. You may deliberate only when all of you are present in the jury room. You may not resume your deliberations after any breaks until all of you have returned to the jury room. The verdict form will be given along with the charges. You will be provided lunch. So at some point, the foreperson notifies us that you're ready for lunch. We'll have lunch for you. At this time, you may be excused to start your deliberations. Okay, we are in recess.
Judge, before you leave, I have a question. The instruction on the agency, not by unanimous, I don't know that I understand that. Wouldn't all the findings have to be by unanimous verdict by the jury?
No. If they decide that West End was not the principal, then they can go to the other questions.
But I think that the question was, the way you explained it, I understood it, meaning they didn't have to be unanimous in that decision. They still have to be unanimous if there's an agency relationship.
No. If they're not unanimous, there's no agency relationship. They have to decide unanimously there is a relationship. Did you understand it, plaintiff, any other way?
Yeah. So no, I understood what you're doing.
Well, maybe they'll ask a question about it. But the answer is, they don't have to decide that question in order to get a verdict.
I understand that, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll be quiet.
Okay, well, if you don't want me back there, I can try and do it with our laptop here. We just have had a hard time with the network, but I can... Okay.